My wife lied and said she checked herself into a mental ward for 2 weeks, but was actually vacationing with my brother and cheating on me with him. If you love Reddit stories as much as I do, you're in the right place. Take a sec to subscribe. Now, let's dive in. I always thought I knew my wife. She wasn't the type to make a scene, never one for drama. She kept things bottled up, but I could always tell when something was off. Lately, she'd been distant, not in a way that screamed trouble, just quieter, heavier. The kind of weight a husband notices. So, when she sat me down on the couch, eyes rimmed with exhaustion, and told me she needed help, I didn't hesitate. "I think I need to check myself in somewhere," she whispered, hands knotted in her lap. "For my mental health." I felt like I'd been punched in the chest. I had no idea it had gotten that bad. "Okay," I said, reaching for her hand. "We'll go together. I'll be right there with you." She pulled away, shaking her head. "No, I need to do this alone. It's embarrassing enough already." That stung, not because I needed to be in control, but because the thought of her struggling alone hurt more than anything. "Are you sure?" I asked. She nodded. "Please, just let me do this my way." I hated it, but I respected her choice. If this was what she needed, who was I to argue? I helped her pack a small bag, comfortable clothes, toiletries, her favorite book. She promised she'd text me when she got settled. Before she left, she turned back at the door, hesitating. "I love you," she said, voice thick with something I couldn't name. "I love you too," I told her, "more than anything." And then she was gone. I sat in the silence of our home, telling myself she was finally getting the help she needed, telling myself I had done the right thing, telling myself everything was okay. I had no idea my marriage had just ended. For the first few days, I tried not to panic. She told me she'd have limited contact. She needed time to settle in, adjust to the program. That made sense. I convinced myself she was okay, but by day 3, the silence was unbearable. I sent a simple text. "Thinking about you. Hope you're okay. Let me know when you can." No response. The next morning, I tried calling. It rang twice before going to voicemail. My gut tightened. She had just declined my call. Something wasn't right. I told myself to wait one more day, give her space, but the doubt kept gnawing at me. So, on the morning of day 5, I called the facility. "Hi, my wife checked in earlier this week. I just wanted to see how she's doing." A short pause, then the receptionist's voice. "What's her name?" I told them. More silence, typing, then, "I'm sorry, but we have no record of her being admitted." My breath stalled in my chest. That couldn't be right. "Could you check again? Maybe she registered under a different name?" A longer pause this time. The receptionist sighed. "Sir, I've checked twice. There's no one by that name here." I swallowed hard, my grip tightening on the phone. "Are you sure?" "Yes, I'm sorry." I thanked her, hung up, and sat there in stunned silence. This wasn't a misunderstanding. She never checked in. The room felt smaller, the walls pressing in. My thoughts tumbled over each other, looking for something, anything, that made sense. Was she at a different facility? Had she changed her mind? Was she safe? Was she even okay? Panic surged through me. I needed answers. I pulled up our joint bank account on my phone, scanning for any signs of where she might be. That's when I saw it. A large charge, not from a hospital, not from a therapy center, but from a luxury resort boutique. Clothing, expensive clothing. My stomach twisted. Why would she need resort wear at a mental health facility? I stared at the transaction, my pulse thudding in my ears. Something was very, very wrong. And for the first time, I had the sinking feeling that I didn't just need to find her. I needed to find out the truth. I sat there, staring at the transaction, my mind refusing to process it. A boutique purchase at a resort. Not a hospital, not a treatment center. A place where people go to unwind, to escape. I checked the date of the charge. 2 days ago. She wasn't locked away in some sterile, white-walled facility. She was out there, somewhere, shopping. I felt sick. I told myself there had to be a reasonable explanation. Maybe she changed her mind about checking in and went somewhere to clear her head. Maybe she needed space. Maybe she was coming back soon. I reached for my phone, hands shaking, and called her again. Voicemail. I tried a text. Where are you? I'm worried. Nothing. Then I did something I never thought I'd do. I opened Instagram. My feed was flooded with people smiling, dumb quotes, and, oh, my brother's best friend. I barely knew the guy, but I remembered he was the type to post everything. Partying, vacations, drinks, inside jokes with my brother. Falling down the rabbit hole, I decided to click on what looked like his vacation pics. And then, there it was, a new post from just a few hours ago. A wide shot of a sparkling oceanfront pool, lounge chairs lined up, drinks sweating in the sun. Paradise. The caption read, "I wish I was having this kind of fun in the sun." At first, I only saw the pool, the palm trees. Okay? About half of my brother's face was in the picture, so I figure he must have sent the pic to his friend. But then my eyes drifted to the corner of the image, where someone's leg stretched out on a lounge chair. A woman's leg, bare, sun-kissed, smooth, and unmistakably hers. Not because of the shape, not because of the angle, but because of the large, unique birthmark on her upper thigh. I blinked, my vision blurred. My wife. At a resort, not alone. I stared at the post, my pulse roaring in my ears. 100 thoughts crashed into me at once, but only one stuck. She lied to me. And if she was lying about this, what else was she lying about? I couldn't move. I sat there, my phone in my hand, staring at the screen as if the image might change, as if I might have seen it wrong, but I hadn't. That was her leg, her birthmark, and she wasn't in a mental health facility. She was at a resort. My stomach twisted so hard I thought I might be sick. I forced myself to zoom in on the image, looking for anything, anyone that might confirm what my gut was already screaming at me. Nothing. Just her leg, the pool, the perfect blue sky. I needed more. I needed proof. I scrolled down to the comments section. It was mostly his usual crew, joking about how jealous they were of the trip. Then, one comment stopped me cold. It was from my brother. "Great view. Feels like paradise." A simple sentence, no emojis, no details, but it said everything. I felt a rush of heat crawl up my neck, my vision tunneled. He was there, and if he was there, then... No, I couldn't let myself go there, not yet. I clicked on his profile, scanning for anything that might confirm it. Nothing recent, no posts, no updates, nothing that directly placed him at that resort. Because he wasn't an idiot, he wouldn't broadcast it. But his best friend? Careless. And my wife? Reckless enough to get caught. I scrolled back to the image, my heart hammering. The evidence was piling up, but I still didn't know the full story. Had she gone with him? Had it started before this? How long had this been happening behind my back? I didn't have those answers yet, but I would. I clenched my jaw, my fingers tightening around my phone. It was time to stop wondering. It was time to find out the truth.
Damn, this story is crazy. Leave a comment below what you think they should do in this situation. And remember to hit the like button. It really helps boost the channel and the YouTube algorithm, so more people find us and we can keep bringing you great content. Okay, let's get back to it.
I didn't sleep that night. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, my mind replaying every moment of the past few weeks, searching for the exact second my life turned into a lie. Had it been when she first mentioned checking herself in, or had it started long before that? Had she been planning this the whole time? By the time the sun started to creep through the blinds, I already knew what I had to do. I wasn't going to sit around waiting for a confession that would never come. I needed to see it for myself. I grabbed my laptop and pulled up the resort's location. It wasn't far, just a few hours away by plane. I didn't hesitate. I booked the next available flight. I sat there for a moment, my hands still on the keyboard, my breath shallow. My stomach felt like it was filled with rocks, but my mind was clear. There was no turning back now. I packed a bag, not much, just the essentials. I wasn't going there for a vacation. At the airport, I moved through security in a fog. I was aware of the people around me, the chatter, the announcements, but none of it felt real. The only thing that felt real was the rage simmering beneath my skin. The flight was short, but it felt endless. My fingers dug into the armrests the entire time, my jaw clenched so tight it ached. And then, suddenly, I was there. The heat hit me the second I stepped outside, but I barely felt it. I hailed a cab, gave the driver the name of the resort, and sat in silence as the city blurred past. My heart slammed against my ribs as we pulled up to the entrance. The place was beautiful. All white sand, turquoise water, and towering palm trees. A paradise. The kind of place you go when you want to celebrate something, or when you have nothing to hide. I walked through the lobby, pretending like I belonged, my stomach churning. I didn't know what I was expecting, but I knew I wouldn't have to wait long to find it. Because just as I stepped onto the outdoor terrace, I saw them, my wife, my brother, sitting together at a table, laughing, like nothing was wrong, like I didn't exist. I stopped dead in my tracks, my breath strangling in my throat. This wasn't just a suspicion anymore. This wasn't some misunderstanding. This was proof. And now that I had it, the only question left was what the hell I was going to do about it. I stood there on the terrace, the world tilting beneath me, watching my wife and my brother as they sat together, smiling, drinking, completely at ease. The heat from the sun pressed down on me, but I felt cold. I expected anger to take over, to feel my blood boil, my fists clench, my pulse thunder in my ears. But all I felt was emptiness. They were happy, carefree, and I was standing there like a fool, drowning in the wreckage they had left behind. I backed away before they could see me, slipping behind a column near the entrance. I needed air. I needed space. I walked fast, then ran. By the time I reached the beach, I was gasping for breath. My chest was tight, my hands shaking. This was real. Not a dream, not paranoia, not some misunderstanding I could explain away. She was here, with him, and she had looked at peace, like she had never loved me at all. The weight of it all came crashing down at once. The lies, the betrayal, the fact that I had believed her. I sank onto the sand, my hands in my hair, my heart pounding against my ribs like it was trying to break free. How long? How long had this been going on? Had it started before she told me she was checking in? Before she even mentioned needing help? Had I ever mattered? My mind replayed everything. The nights she stayed out late, the times she pulled away from my touch, the way she begged me to let her check in alone. I had let her go. I had kissed her goodbye, and the whole time she had already left me. I clenched my fists, digging them into the sand, trying to ground myself. I could storm over there, drag them into the public eye, demand an explanation. I could scream, hit, break something. But then what? They would still be here. The damage was already done. I took a long, shaky breath. No, I wasn't going to lose control. I wasn't going to give them that much power over me. I wiped my face, stood up, and turned back toward the resort. I wasn't done. Not yet. But when I confronted them, it wasn't going to be out of rage. It was going to be on my terms. The terrace was still busy when I stepped onto it, my pulse steady, my breath even. I wasn't here to make a scene. I was here to look them in the eyes and watch them squirm under the weight of their own choices. They were still at the same table, oblivious. My wife was mid-laugh, her head tilted back, her hand brushing against my brother's arm like it belonged there, like I had never existed. I walked straight to their table and pulled out the chair across from them, sat down, calmly. My wife saw me first. Her laughter died instantly, her face draining of color. My brother tensed, his drink halfway to his lips. Neither of them spoke. I let the silence drag out, watching them, taking in every detail. The way my wife's fingers trembled against her glass, the way my brother avoided my eyes. I pulled out my phone and placed it on the table, opened our bank app, turned the screen toward them. Explain this. Her eyes flicked to the screen, widening as she saw the charge, the boutique purchase, the resort's name, the date. Undeniable proof. She licked her lips, her throat bobbing as she tried to find words. There were none. I swiped to the next screen, the Instagram post, the photo of her leg, unmistakable because of the birthmark she couldn't hide. I tapped the screen, and this? Her breath hitched. I finally turned to my brother, who still hadn't said a word. Coward. He set his drink down carefully, like he was buying himself time. Then, finally, he spoke. Look, man, don't. My voice was quiet, but it cut through him like a knife. I shifted my gaze back to my wife. Was I ever enough for you? Tears welled in her eyes. I didn't care. She reached for my hand. I pulled away. The air felt heavy, the restaurant humming in the background, people around us laughing, talking, oblivious to the wreckage unfolding right here. She whispered my name like it meant something, like I wasn't just another casualty of her choices. I let the silence hang between us, let her feel it. Then I stood. Enjoy paradise. I didn't stop walking. Not when I heard her scrape her chair back in a hurry. Not when she called my name, her voice raw with panic. Not when my brother finally found his voice and muttered, "Come on, man, let's just talk." I kept moving. Out of the restaurant, across the resort grounds, toward the exit. I didn't need to hear her excuses. I didn't need his half-baked justifications. I had all the answers I needed. I had proof, and I had their silence. That told me everything. The night air was thick, humid, pressing in on me, but my mind was sharp, focused, clear. I reached the front of the resort, flagged down a cab, and slid into the back seat without looking back. Let them deal with what they had done. The car pulled away, the resort shrinking behind me, and for the first time since this started, I let out a breath. A deep one. Not relief, not yet, but something close, because I wasn't trapped in that lie anymore. I checked my phone, scrolling past the missed calls and unread messages. I didn't need to open them to know what they said. She was sorry, she wanted to talk, she could explain. I didn't care. I scrolled further, to something that mattered. A lawyer, a damn good one. I tapped the number and hit call. It rang once, twice, then a voice. "This is Danforth and Ellis. How can I help you?" I exhaled slowly. This was it. "I need to start the process of filing for divorce," I said, my voice steady. No hesitation, no regret. The cab rolled down the dark highway, city lights ahead. I didn't know where I was going next, but I knew one thing for sure. I was never looking back. Halfway through the cab ride, as I was scheduling my appointment with the divorce lawyer, my phone wouldn't stop buzzing. At first, I ignored it, but after the third, fourth, fifth vibration, frustration got the best of me. When I finished my call, I looked at the notifications, expecting just one or two messages. Instead, I found a flood. Her name, over and over again. "Please, talk to me. I made a mistake. I love you. Just say something." Each one hit like a slap, but I just stared at the screen, numb. I scrolled, my pulse pounding, until I reached the last notification, a voicemail. I hesitated. Part of me wanted to delete it without listening, but another part, the part still raw, still stinging, needed to hear her voice. I pressed play. At first, silence, then a deep breath. "I know I messed up," she whispered, her voice unsteady, shaking like she'd been crying. "I don't even know why I did it. I was lost, I was stupid, but please, please don't just throw us away." "Us?" I clenched my jaw. "I love you," she continued. "I always did." A bitter laugh escaped me before I could stop it. Love? Love doesn't make you feel crazy for trusting someone. Love doesn't make you sit at home, waiting, worrying, while they're lying to your face. Love doesn't send you chasing ghosts just to find the truth. Love doesn't look like this. My thumb hovered over the delete button, and then I pressed it. Gone. Then, methodically, I blocked her number. Then my brother's. No second chances, no explanations, no more words. I leaned back against the seat, the cab rolling down the highway, carrying me away from them, away from all of it. I stepped into the airport, the cold blast of air conditioning hitting my skin, a stark contrast to the heat outside. I wasn't rushing, I wasn't frantic, I was just here, moving forward. I checked in for my flight and made my way through security, feeling lighter with every step. There was nothing left to say, nothing left to hear. For the first time in days, no one was chasing me. No one was trying to pull me back. I found my gate, sat down, and watched people come and go. Families, couples, strangers passing through, wrapped up in their own lives. None of them knew me. None of them knew what I had just walked away from. And I liked that. I pulled out my phone, opened my notes app. I didn't write much, just a list of things I needed to do when I got home. Finalize divorce filing, separate accounts, find a new place. Everything practical, everything necessary. I stared at the last item for a moment, then added one more. Live my damn life. A soft exhale left my lips. Yeah, that one felt right. I locked my phone, leaned my head back, and closed my eyes, taking a deep breath. 30 minutes later, I was in my seat, buckling in, staring out the window as the plane taxied down the runway. I watched the city shrink below me, getting smaller, more distant, until it was nothing but a memory. And I felt hurt, but not broken. Let them have each other. I'm better off without her.
And as usual, that was a lot. Make sure you subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a story. See you in the next one.